All right, so pretty much first thing we're doing every single game is we're taking a look at our team composition. What are the top 3 people to nano? That way we have a plan for the fight. Who would you say the top 3 people in order to nano are on our team?
Genji, Road, McCree. Oh,
Mm,
sorry. There's a Zarya. I would Genji, Zarya, and either Rod or McCree.
mm. Because it's such an open map, McCree's just his high noon's gonna get a little bit of a I'll talk after this fight. Never mind. Make sure you're requesting healing when you're low.
Oh,
But you can also just if your mercy is busy, right, you can nade yourself. I really love the aggressive anti-nades, right? That's really something you don't see much, especially at the lower ranks. Right. So, um, oh, looks like we're gonna get some. No, all right. So, um, because this is a more open map, McCree's High Noon's gonna get a little bit better, right? The more enclosed it is, or the more shields that they have, the worse it's gonna be to nano High Noon. But yeah, I'd probably say that the top 3 would just be those ultimates, right? Nano Blade, Nano High Noon, and then Nano Whole Hog, and then yeah, Full Charge Sorry is also gonna be very good. But I think that the ultimate combos are just gonna be a little bit more powerful. Yeah, besides that, we'll just keep taking a look at the gameplay here. We are looking for Nano here, so just make sure we're continuously pressing tab, seeing, okay, what's everyone else at. Genji doesn't have a blade yet, so we're paying attention to his blade, preferably.
I lost track of Genji. I don't know where he is.
Yep, if we're paying attention to kill feed or the bodies in front of us, he had died first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Nope,
Didn't
you,
notice.
you don't have to apologize to me. That's just something to keep an eye on more often, right? Kill feed's going to be very, very important for it'll allow us to kind of tell the flow of the fight and who's winning and losing. Right, so we have very, very good mechanics. I love the aggressive anteing. I'm going to take a little bit more of a look at our sleeps. Good timing with our nano boost there.
Thank you. Man, I thought I had that sleep. Crap.
Okay, really good job not holding on to nano boost. I like the aggression that you took when your team is pushing forwards. Honestly, I don't think we've made many mistakes yet, so we're doing really well so far.
Thank you. Crap.
Okay, make sure you're paying attention to your health bar again, right? That way you're not sitting like, just down 40 HP. You don't want to ever be sitting down HP because that's just going to mean that you're easier to kill. So make sure we're being aware of that, and then that way we can, request healing again from the Mercy, go grab a health pack, or nade ourselves if we feel like that is going to be what we need to do.
Okay, didn't I die for full HP just now though?
No, you died from 160. So that's
Ah,
something to keep in mind because that'll just help you get melted by Baptiste just that a little bit of faster. Um, but at the same time, that's just try to pay attention to where the enemy team is, right? So we can try to stay out of his line of sight. Okay. I like to see us pressing tab after each fight. So because you have so much free open time to do that, tab's gonna allow you to see has our teammate any team comp swaps, has their teammate any team comp swaps. What ultimates does our team have, right? And then that'll allow us to combo Nano a little bit better. Now I do see your Genji is pressing, is updating you on his blade every once in a while in chat, but that is going to be helpful when Genjis aren't doing that. Right, and then it'll also let you take a look at the other ults on your team that you have.
okay, I'm gonna nano McCree next.
Sounds good. Okay, so now you are on a part of the map that doesn't have as much high ground. Ooh. Okay, make sure you're not standing too far out in the open there. Okay, bad positioning is going to be when you're leaving cover. You have the absence of cover. And then good positioning is when you do have the usage of cover.
Okay.
Right, so we have a bunch of things that we're gonna talk about after this game's done, but we do have another rounds here. All right, so I'm trying to think. Is there anything we can fit into this round?
Okay, tell me about my positioning.
Yeah, so
How
you're
can I improve it?
So your positioning, essentially, I'll demonstrate all this stuff after this game's done, but we want to make sure that you're standing next to cover at all times, right? Cover is, or objects that can stop damage from coming into you. That's how you take less damage, and when we're standing out in the open, that means that it takes us time to move to that cover, and therefore, in that time it takes, we're going to end up dying. So in that last fight, for example, we had been nanoing the McCree, so we were pushed up a little bit, but we were on the far right of the kind of choke there. That means that there's more time that we have to walk to get back to the far left corner, which means that that more time that we're spending on the open is going to be very, very bad for us, and we're going to take taking a lot more damage. So whenever we're positioning, we want to make sure that we're positioning next to cover, and then we'll review some more Ana specific positioning after this game's done. It just will require a little bit of a demonstration so that and we also only have 20 seconds left. So right here we have a little bit of a different comp than before, so we're taking a look at tab, checking out top three. I'd probably say when it comes to your McCree or Hog, it's really just going to depend on the distance that they are from the enemy team when they're trying to use their ults, right? If McCree is super far away, Nano McCree is gonna be better. If Roadhog's right up, if they're in Roadhog's face or Roadhog's in their face, right, then Roadhog's becomes the better pick for the Nano. With ultimate, of course.
Three. Fine. Ultimate fuck will be hard. Nice. Okay.
Yeah, good job pressing tab, checking what he has on his ultimate. Good usage of cover, right? This is exactly what we want to be doing, and that's why we stand next to the pillars, right? Rather than standing out in the open, because then we have the option to do that and duck behind cover.
Yeah, that was a misclick.
Not good.
What the fuck is that dragon?
Okay. Alright, make sure we're not holding onto our Nano there. That can help keep tanks alive in the grab. Your McCree did use the High Noon from the high ground, so either using it on Roadhog there or on the McCree could have gotten you more value than holding on to it. Because the longer we hold on to our ults, then that means basically they're just going to get less value, right? They use their ults, they get value with them, we hold on to ours, so we don't get any value.
Should I have nanoed the McCree or the Roadhog back then for the Zarya?
I think we don't have a... Do we have a Zarya? I saw a ball.
Oh, ball. Sorry.
Yeah. She is swapped. Yeah, so probably the hog was kind of in our line of sight and the easiest to... Whoops.
I thought someone was behind me. Yeah.
Yeah, the Roadhog was the easiest one to nano there, and we were already looking at him, but then the McCree was kind of a secondary option if we heard him going for his high noon. So probably the McCree would have been better if we knew about it. That is just unfortunate timing.
Yeah.
There's no more talking. No more talking. Serious. No.
Alright, we'll talk about this after this game's done, but start to be hesitant about using ultimates when we have so many picks, such as two, as that's going to be very close to winning the fight when we have picks like that. So we'll talk about that more after this game. There's a lot of stuff we're going to go over with this game that I can't really fit into these fights, so just keep that in mind. Okay, and that fight might have wanted to see an aggressive anti-nade, especially when at the very beginning when we weren't under pressure by the Sombra. We have been going for those, it's just been a little bit inconsistent. I think just overall your gameplay seems like you know what you're doing. It's just you maybe don't have enough time that it's all become consistent enough because it seems like most of what we're doing just isn't replicated throughout the entire game. All right. So, at the time that we had used that nano, it was a pretty much 6v3. So we really gotta be careful about using our ultimates and staying in a fight when the fight has been lost. So that's where watching kill feed and watching the fight comes into play. And again, we'll review that more in depth after this game is kind of concluded.
Okay.
All right, so you can don't not get into a queue yet. I'm going to stream myself over on Discord here. Once I get once I get Overwatch open.
All right.
All right, streaming. Just let me know when you take a look.
Okay. Okay. I stopped my streaming.
Are you watching?
Yes, I am watching.
All right, so we're gonna go over a bunch of different things. First off, just while we were on the topic of it, kill feed watching. So kill feed will let you know whether or not you're winning or losing the fight by telling you how many players are alive and dead. So when your team is up 1 to 2 picks, right? You've gotten 1 to 2 kills. That means that you guys are at an advantage. You can afford to play more aggressively with your positioning, with your kind of your tempo of using abilities. When you are up 2 to 3 people, then that's where you have pretty much won the fight, right? That's where you don't want to use your ultimate. That's where you want to play super aggressively to pick up the kills. You want to be looking to reposition and get to the best positioning possible. Now it also
All
goes
right.
the exact. What do you say? Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Can I pause you right there?
Yep.
So basically, I have been trying really hard
Mm.
to pay attention to the feed, especially since I was climbing from plat to diamond.
Mm.
But no matter how I try, I still have a hard time paying full attention to it.
Yes.
Can you offer any tips? I mean, is there a way to practice paying attention to the feed? I mean,
Well, the
I've been
biggest thing is that you're not always paying attention to it at every single moment. You only pay attention to it when you see something happen, right? When you see something move at the top right corner of your screen, out of the corner of your eye, right? Then we glance at it, we check who's alive, who's dead, and then we look back to our team. We're not going to be staring at it. It's not a rotation to where we're looking at it every 10 seconds, every 5 seconds. It's not something that we will be doing all the time. It's not something we'll do in, once in a while. It's something that we only do when we see that it goes down. For example, it's pretty much the same thing with our health bar. We look at our health bar when we see that we've taken damage, right? We can hear that we've taken damage. If we see a shot come into us, if we get the damage markers around our crosshair or the damage markers around the corners of our screen, then we know that we've taken damage and we glance at our health bar. In the same exact
all right.
way, we glance at the kill feed when we know when we see it start moving around up there, right? So we see it because it's nothing's there. You can see there's nothing there on my screen right now, but then it'll kind of start scrolling down as kills start progressing.
Exactly. And the thing is, I have a hard time processing what happened when I glance over the kill feed. Like, it takes me a few seconds.
Yep.
And those few seconds, I'm usually mid-fight, and someone usually dies because I wasn't paying attention to them when I was trying to read what happened, trying to process what happened on the kill feed. It's the same with my HP, actually. Like, sometimes it doesn't register to me that I'm low. Like, sometimes I'm fighting and I'm low, and
The
I
biggest
don't know how to.
thing the biggest thing to do is just to simplify it. We're not looking for characters, we're not looking at abilities, we're just looking for blue kills red, red kills blue. That's pretty much it, and then we do the quick math, so we see, oh, okay, blue kills red, we're up 1. Okay, red kills blue, now we're even, right? So we essentially aren't looking for any information. We don't care about what characters are lost. We care only really about the number of people alive, because that will be the greatest kind of indicator on if you're winning or losing, which will affect our gameplay. Does that make sense, or
It does.
is that pretty
It
much still
does.
what you're doing?
No, I wasn't doing that. I was actually
Hmm.
trying to find out who killed who, and yeah.
Yeah, the biggest thing is that doesn't necessarily matter most of the time. Now that the information can matter sometimes, right? If we're trying to pay attention to maybe somebody in our back line was killed, and then that means we turn around and oh well, where were they killed from? But most of the time that we're looking at kill feed, it's more of just which team has died, less of which character has died. But as you get better with it, you'll also start to just get better at paying attention to which characters too. So continuing on, let me know if you ever any questions. Just feel free to interrupt me like you just did. Um, it also goes the exact opposite way. When you are down 1 to 2 people, right? Your team is losing 1 to 2 people. That means that you are at a disadvantage. You didn't lose the fight yet, but you are in the process of losing the fight. Right, that's where you play more passive, and then when you are down 2 to 3 people, that is where the fight has been lost. Okay, that means we're not using any more ultimates. That means that we want to either get out if possible, and if we don't think that we can get out, we want to die so that we don't end up staggering. Now, the reason why, and I'll explain this. So the reason why that 2 is the middleman, right? I say 1 to 2 and then 2 to 3. The reason why the 2 is in the middle there is because that's going to depend on a whole variety of factors. How much health each team has, right? Are we all like pretty much 1 HP? Is the enemy team all very low? What ultimates does each team have, right? Does the team have a big ult advantage? Because even if we don't have any ultimates and the enemy team has 4 ultimates, but they only have 4 players, they can still bring that back around by just popping all their ults. It'll depend on how many ults are being currently used. It'll depend on the positioning of each team. So there's a lot of other factors that you'll have to take into account, and that's where the 2 number will kind of be kind of a variable.
All right.
Okay, so moving on, are you aware of Anna's scope nade tech?
No,
No,
I'm
okay.
not sure what that is. Okay.
So if you scope in, this only works if you're scoped, and you take your ult charge, okay, that's the 92 or the Q here, and you line that up with an enemy, a nade will hit. Oh, there's a thing in the way. A nade will hit from any range, any height, or not any range. If you're an inch from them, that sometimes can be a little bit difficult. But when you're an inch from them, you don't need to do that. But really, this is going to be very, very, very helpful when you're looking for a mid-range nade or a long-range nade, and you're just trying to line it up accurately so that so you can get it around shields. Here, we're going to wait for him to go back in the room. Because he's a little bit below us here, we're going to aim more the Q at him. Right, oh, whoops, I ended up doing that. All right. Right. So,
Oh wait. So you line up the queue with. Can you do it again, please?
yep, you line up your Q or your ult charge. A lot of time, it's not gonna matter a whole lot, as it's going to be pretty much, because your nade has a very wide radius.
Wait. But doesn't that depend on the scope zoom? Because mine is at 36% or something.
There's no difference in the zoom ever. That's the when you're talking about your sensitivity, that's how fast we're moving around our crosshair.
No, the option that changes the zoom, the relative aim.
Yeah, the relative aim means basically when I am zoomed in, I am moving so and so fast versus so and so fast, right? You can change your sensitivity within your zoom. That's not how far you zoom in.
I see. Sorry, I thought it was how far I zoomed in. My
No,
bad.
you're good. Yeah, you can't change how far you zoom in. So it's gonna be the same for everyone, right? You just line that up, you toss it in. and then that way you can land more accurate nades at a range.
That is so helpful. Thank you.
Mhm.
I didn't know that.
Yep. So now moving on with our nades, make sure that we're not trying to hit people with them, as when we try to hit people, that body blocks it from hitting other people. And
Okay.
then that means that we get a lot less value, and it's also going to be a lot harder to hit people than just hit a giant radius on the floor, because nade does have a very big radius, and if we hit the floor, for example, even if we're hitting it on this side of the person, or hits both of them. So if we're aiming at the ground, we hit more people, and it's also more of it's a bigger radius. So this is one of the reasons that going to high grounds is going to be very, very helpful for you, is because it allows us to get really, really good lines of sight at the ground in between people, whereas from that side angle, it becomes a little bit more difficult to kind of hit those nades. From high grounds, a lot of times it just becomes a lot easier to land nades. So high ground positioning a lot of the time is going to be very, very fantastic for you, and I would highly recommend, especially on a map like Numani. I don't think we touched the high ground once, aside from first point attack and defense. Other than that, second point, right? When you're capping point and and you have 3 people on cart, you can use that time to go and rotate to the high ground. This can allow you to land very effective nades. High ground's always going to be fantastic for you because it gives you a lot of survivability and visibility over everything that's happening. We can see a whole lot from here, and we can survive more often because, as you see with cover, we can use pretty much all of the platform as cover on a high ground, right? So that bot can see us. Now they can't see us because we back up away from the ledge, right? So we also want to make sure that we're not standing too close to the ledge, because if we are doing that, that's going to be kind of the equivalent of standing out in the open, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people can see us. Can we shoot at 5 people at once?
Okay.
Not a trick question, right? No. Can five people at once can shoot at us. So that means that
Yeah.
we're gonna be taking a lot more damage, and therefore, we can back up away from the ledge. We can add in a crouch, and then now a lot less people can see us. We can line up with that, and then now pretty much it's just that one bot over in the corner that can see us, right? We can go for that kill, move on to the next target, or we can, if we're going for a nade or we're trying to see what's going on, we can peek over the edge real quick, toss in a nade, and then back up.
Okay.
Right.
Sounds good.
So now we're gonna go over some more Ana specific positioning, right? Real quick, just the general positioning, just so you can see it, right? If we're standing right here, enemy team, they're all shooting at us. It takes us 1, 2, 3 seconds to get behind cover. We're safe. Okay, that means that is bad positioning because there's an absence of cover, and in that time it took us to walk here, we are dead. This, on the other hand, right? We can sleep the same, we can nade the same, we can shoot the same, we can nano the same, right? Everything the same, except for it takes us half a second to duck behind cover. Therefore, this is much better positioning, right? Because we have the option for cover whenever we want to use it. And then that is going to be pretty much the same thing. If we're doing a wide angle like this, then it takes us a long time to get over to that cover. So you try to stick next to the cover at all times, right?
Okay.
That's going to be pillars, corners, they're going to be all over the place. You just want to look for objects. All right. So, were you gonna say something, or?
No, keep going. Sorry.
All right. So now we are on to Ana specific positioning. Now that was general positioning. That applies to every single character in the game, and it's gonna apply to pretty much every FPS game out there. Now this is something that's just more like Ana positioning, and this can also apply to some of the other supports. But most of the time on Ana, unless everyone on your team's full HP, or you're looking for an anti or a sleep, you're not going to be shooting at people, enemies specifically, right? That's not going to happen most of the time. So, especially when we are looking for hard healing, right? We have some critical people on our team. We don't want to be standing here where people can see us and shoot at us. We want to be standing behind cover to where they can't see us and we can heal our team. That way we're not taking unnecessary spam damage, not getting caught out, sniped, anything of that like, and we have a lot more survivability if we're just sticking behind cover while we're healing, rather than standing, over here where we can still heal them, but now we're just taking unnecessary damage. Now I accidentally skipped ahead there. I didn't go over this, but there are 3 boxes that we want to look to check off as Ana with our positioning. So the first one is, can we see our team? I think you do a very good job of this, and you want to make sure that you're staying in line of sight as many teammates as possible, so we can actually heal them. You do a good job of that, right? The second one here, I'd probably say would maybe be the one that you struggle with a little bit more, and then the third one will, I think you struggle with a little bit too. But this one, you want to just make sure that if you're just in the middle of healing, you try to put something in between yourself and the enemy so that you can't, you're not going to take unnecessary damage. And then that's the second checkbox is, can the enemy team see us? No, you don't want them to be able to see us. Third one is, are we in a position to where we can land nades and sleeps? So a lot of the times we kind of just chill here with the team and then we just chuck in nades whenever, but that can get difficult for a couple reasons. Well, first off, there can be shields in the way, there can be our teammates in the way, which can just all end up blocking our nade attempts. So that's going to be a good option if the second thing isn't an option. But we want to make sure that we're looking to take off angles is the big thing, and positioning to where we can take off angles. So an example of an off angle is, instead of coming from, for example, let's say like our team's holding there, enemy team's holding there, right? We can come through this side, chuck in a nade, and then back up. Off angles are inherently safe and fast. Okay, it's not a flank. A flank is anything that's taking long and it's dangerous, right? I'll give you 2 more examples of this, right? Let's say our team's holding here, enemy team is holding there. Okay, an off angle would be if we kind of just back up to here, we can heal our team. If we see nobody's about to die, right? Nobody's critical, we're all good. We can take a 3-second detour and go 1, 2, 3, and then now we've got to come up to the high ground. We can see pretty much their whole team, get a big fat anti-nade in there, and then we've now had a very, very big impact. A lot of the times your anti-nades, and the reason why I like seeing you go for it is because, you know, a 6-man anti-nade can have more power than your nano boost a lot of the time. It's a very, very powerful ability on a cooldown. So you want to be looking to use that more often. And put yourself in a position to where you can hit those, namely on flanks, namely on high grounds, or not flanks, sorry, off angles, namely on high grounds. And a lot of times we're not really positioning ourselves for those positions to where we can go for this. Right here, we are safe. We can drop to our team if we need to. It's going to be very difficult for the enemy team to contest us from up here, and it is very short. A flank, on the other hand, would be if we came from here and we decided to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Twice the time. In that time, our team's dying. We can't heal our team from here because the enemy team's in the way. And then we get the nade off, but we're in a very dangerous situation. So that's the type of thing when we're not going to go for a lot of the time.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense.
Yep. So now I guess that's it for the demonstrations. Now you can probably go ahead and get into a queue. I'll just talk for a minute or so, or a couple minutes on just some, I guess, overall kind of what I'm looking at. So I'll probably say that you're very, very good in every area of your gameplay. It's just inconsistent to where it's not happening all the time. So I see you, like, at the very beginning of the game, the first thing you do is you go for these anti-nades and it hits like 6 people, and then you win the fight because of it, and then you hit another anti. But then as the game progresses, I'm seeing that you're only hitting around half of those, to where only half I really, really love that you're looking for the aggressive anti-nades, which is what Anas should be doing, and that's what I encourage lower ranked Anas to do. So we're looking for it. It's the fact that a lot of them end up missing, so I want to see a lot more effort put into it. The scoping tech that we talked about, the positioning that we talked about, and then not just hitting people directly can help you do that a little bit better, and land nades a little bit better. But the other thing is we just need to put more thought into it so that it's not getting caught by shields, not getting caught by teammates, and we're getting it ineffectively. What do you say?
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I got a game.
Oh, that was fast. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna stop streaming. You can go ahead and stream whenever. Yep. So then, with your sleeps, I think your sleeps are you have very good usage with them. I think we hit them around the same as our Ana. Around the same as our nades. Nano boost, I really, really love the timing with them. I don't think we have too much of an issue with our nano. Oh, that was a very fast Q.
Yeah.
Right. You know, just taking a look at our team comp. We have a lot of good nano targets. Very good sleep. You can go for the kill either. Oh, Mercy left you, but yeah, make sure we're paying attention to our front line. If they're the ones that are going to be taking the most damage on our team, and if we look away from them for even just a couple seconds, sometimes they end up dying. So make sure keeping close eye on them. Okay, our team's still in this fight, so we're looking for a nano here at some point whenever we get it. Okay. Okay. Very, very good nano. Good nade.
Thank
All right.
you.
Now that we've gone over a lot of the stuff that I was initially watching you go play through, I might be talking a bit more if that's all right, and just kind of guiding you through when I would be doing what, and giving you reminders of kind of what you should be doing.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you.
Yep, no problem. Yep, right now I'm just looking for a long range nade. Good job. Maybe that's the distance where you can look to scope it in just to make it a little bit more accurate. Unfortunately, Reinhardt's feeding.
That was my bad.
All right. That was a very ridiculous hook. That should not have landed.
I think it's because, oh, never mind. I'm not lagging.
Yeah, that was curved very hard.
Ryan, back up.
Nice communication. Oh, that was something else we are going to talk about, Snap. Okay, well, we'll talk about it after this game. Okay, make sure we're push up a little bit further to our tanks, like our team. If they're fighting over that corner, we can look for nades over the left room. Right.
I slept him as soon as he faded.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Should I need? I mean, should I nano the Reinhardt or the Hog or the McCree?
Gonna depend on really range. Okay, if Reinhardt and Roadhog aren't near anything and we want a high noon, we can go for the McCree. Or not, and we want a high noon, and we want a nano, then we can go for the McCree. Otherwise, probably the nano Roadhog's gonna be better than the nano Ryan. Okay, we are up 2 currently, so we just gotta be aware of that. Now we're up 1. Now we're 4v4, right? So we kind of need to be neutral. Okay, good heals. Right now we're repositioning up to a high ground so that we can have that better position, right? We always want to be looking to get to the best positioning possible after each fight. Yep, from here we can land nades, and we can heal most of our team. If if they go directly below us, then we can look to just drop to them.
Yeah, I failed that nade. I should have used the Q thing.
Yep. Great.
I missed my play.
Right, so this is gonna come into, and I forgot to talk about this again, but it's fine. This is gonna come into making sure you're paying attention to the enemy team comp. Our place, I guess I'll wait. Okay, our playstyle is going to change against each and every comp that we're up against and each and every comp that we're working with our team. If they have flankers, for example, we need to make sure we're keeping an extra close eye on our flanks, keep an ear open for them. So if we know that they have a Reaper who's going to be trying to contest us up on the high ground, right now we position top left. Nope, not that one, other one. Yep, that one. Whenever the cart is underneath that bridge or further, then we're positioning on this high ground so that we can see most of the point. Right, we can land those long distance nades from here. Just really keep an eye out for the Reaper so that he's not getting you. Good nade. Yep, if you get start getting contested, drop to your team, not away from them, right? Because that allows them to assist you, and you can run away to them. If we are dropping on the opposite side of them, then that makes it harder for them to get to us and help us.
Got it.
Very nice mechanics. Yep. Probably say that you just hitting base, healing and damage shots doesn't need any work on. That's probably the best thing you have going for you right now. Good nade. Okay, make sure we're pressing tabs so we can see ults. Right, Kriya's ult, Hog's ult, right, so now we're doing it based on range again. Oh. Okay, there's a little bit of a poor time in positioning to engage by our team, so make sure that you're not trying to encourage that by going for a nano when you're in that bad positioning, because a lot of time you're not going to want to hold there. Right now you're looking for a nade. Good prediction with the shield drop. You're probably also just chucking a sleep at some point. Oh. Yeah, maybe I called that right as the Reaper came on us. That's my bad.
It's okay. It's fine.
Yeah, it's I didn't think that through, but yeah, that's something to keep in mind. If they have a flanker, then maybe you hold on to that sleep for the flanker. But if you know that they're dead, if you know that they're busy, or you see them in the fight, then that's a situation where we can like kind of what do you call it? Lob sleeps into the fight. So for example, like last game on Nubani might be a little bit better for that, as they weren't running as many things that can just kind of get on you in the back line. So just chucking in sleeps to the fight's going to get more value than holding on to it for a long period of time. But that's my bad with that one right there, because that was a little bit of mistiming, and I forgot that they had a Reaper.
It's fine.
Right. So
I would have bad sleep anyways. I mean, yeah.
All right. So whenever we're looking at, on top of paying attention to what targets we want in Nano, we also want to take a look at what is our team comp and what is the enemy team comp. Very first and second thing that we're doing. So are you aware of what the 3 different team comps in the game are?
No idea.
Or the kind of 3 base team comps. All right. Well then I will. Oh, I didn't mean to click on Overwatch. Well then I will send you a comps list here real quick. And then you can take a look at that after this next game is done. But this goes over the 3 main team comps and then the kind of 4th one in between, and then how they should be played. So that's going to be very helpful to understand, especially the higher up you go, to understand what your playstyle and your team's playstyle should be while you're on the different comps that you're running. Yeah, we probably drop or leaving line of sight of a lot of our team, right? We want to make sure that we can see them first check box of our list. Very good nade. Nope, if we see Genji still up there, remember, like, he's still in danger, even if he's no longer in need of healing. So make sure putting our crosshair on the people that, you know, are in the most danger, because they're going to be the ones who are going to be taking the most damage. Right now we're lagging behind our team. You know, push up with them. Right, look at where Reinhardt was and look where we're positioning. Just a little bit far back, so if your team's pushing forwards, make sure you're in line of sight of them. We got a bunch of picks. We've won this fight. We just be a little bit more aggressive with our positioning, but make sure we're still in cart. Okay, good decision to back off from cart there when it looked like they might have tried to recontest there. But as soon as you see that you cap that and they're not coming in any longer, make sure you can see your tanks again, right? Big thing. Make sure you can see your tanks most of the time because they're going to be taking a whole lot of damage. And sometimes you kind of just lose track of them. Okay, good tab. Nice sleep. Out of line of sight of a lot of our team right now. Okay, I'd probably say on this attack, one of the biggest things we're struggling with is making sure we're checking off that first box. Can we see our team? We're putting ourselves in positions to where we can't really see our team a lot of the time.
Okay, got it. Roadhog slept behind.
Unfortunate. If he's walking towards you, try not to stand still and let him hook you. Now, really good nade on the Reinhardt there, or Reinhardt's there.
Thank you. Was that about a nano? Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, he wasn't really close enough to much, so you want to make sure that he's within range. Otherwise, he's just going to be, kind of running at the enemy team and not able to hit anything. The problem there was I don't think we saw where the enemy team was, and therefore we couldn't make that decision. So try to pay attention to where they're at, and then you can get the better timing on the nano. Very nice sleep. Ooh, that was kind of a little bit close, but good job getting around that corner. You can really see how that usage of cover can stop death, and then if he's trying to die, don't keep pocketing him. Yep, there when the fight's lost, that ends up staggering you both.
Okay, my bad.
Yep. So that staggering meaning you're wasting time. You're coming out of spawn late because if you kind of look at where Reinhardt's at now, he might end up dying because you're not there. So
Got it.
you want to make sure that you're getting out or you're dying as fast as possible, and us sitting in there healing just keeps both us and Genji in longer. Alright, teams push a little bit up. We can probably go up to that corner. Yep.
Ah.
Alright. Standing a little too close to cart during that fight, so you can kind of the job of pushing cart is on tanks for the second half of point of a kind of payload map. The reason being is where's the one place the enemy team has to go to, to on the second point, right? When you're about to cap.
Okay.
Cart. Yeah. So if they have to go to cart, us being on cart is the most dangerous place possible for us to be. So we want to back up away from cart.
Ah!
Oof.
I wanted to go to the high ground. My bad.
Yeah.
Old soldiers are hard to kill.
Right now, those look like we were about to win that.
Should I have followed the team back then?
I think the other problem with going high ground in that situation was that was a long rotation, and it looked like our team was kind of running in immediately. So even if we had gone high ground and the Reaper wasn't there, the time it would take us to rotate would have meant that we were out of the fight for like a good 4, 5, 6 seconds, which isn't going to usually be a very good thing. So if the fight's already starting, then you don't have time to rotate to high ground a lot of the time. Okay, right now we're a little bit farther back from the fight. Make sure you're at more of a medium range to the fight, unless you're like, keeping a high ground or something like that where you can see a lot of the fight. Okay. Deep Roadhog up.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, maybe we could have just looked for the nade or something. All right, so long game. So I'm gonna end the recording here.